The apartment still smelled of fresh paint and cardboard from recently unpacked boxes. I loved that scent. It carried the feeling of a new beginning, a blank page. Mornings were peaceful. The coffee grinder rattling in the kitchen, a warm square of sunlight on the living room floor, and the neighbor's cat perched on my windowsill, watching me as if checking whether I was happy. Smiled back. It was. The first 2 weeks felt like life had stopped at a perfect moment. Quiet, safe, untouched. I hung curtains, made lists of missing kitchenware, searched for shelves and picture frames. Sometimes I spoke aloud. A lamp will go here. A bookshelf there. My own voice sounded confident again, no longer cracked or hesitant. I truly believed the painful breakup was behind me, and the future finally belonged to me. Then I noticed him. At first, just a shadow on the edge of my sight. A man in a dark blue tracksuit, hood slightly pulled over his head, eyes empty and glassy. I learned to sense his presence before I even saw him. The air in the hallway would grow colder. His footsteps too steady, too exact, like a metronome. He appeared at the exact same times. When I left for work, when I came back, when I took out the trash. He never spoke, just stood there, watching without watching. The first time he spoke was about a month after I'd moved in. I was carrying heavy grocery bags, my fingers aching from the weight. He appeared out of nowhere by the entrance, so suddenly I flinched. "Let me help," he said, voice flat, emotionless. His fingers brushed mine as he took the bags. Cold fingers, unnaturally cold for a hot July day. In the elevator, he stared straight ahead. But when the doors opened on my floor, he turned his head. "You bought buckwheat and milk, but usually you buy olive oil on Tuesdays." Froze. He was right. I did buy olive oil on Tuesdays. There was a sale every week. But how did he know that? I had never mentioned it to anyone. That evening I bought a small black notebook. On the first page I wrote, "Diary," then the date, and my notes. Monday, 8:15 a.m. He stood by the trash chute. Didn't look at me, but I felt his gaze. Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Met by the elevator. Said nothing. At first it felt silly, as if I was overreacting. But the entries piled up quickly, and patterns began to appear like cracks under paint. Whenever I ordered pizza, he, coincidentally, came out of his apartment the moment the delivery guy arrived. When my mother called and I spoke in the hallway, he'd appear near the mailboxes and just stand there, motionless, until I hung up. Once, as I walked past his door, I heard him on the phone. "She's wearing a blue dress today. It suits her." I started changing everything. Different routes, different hours, different stores. I wore oversized clothes, hoodies, caps, anything to disappear. But he always adapted. No matter how I changed, he was there, like he could read my thoughts. One evening, I came home to find a small cardboard box under my door. Inside was a cheap plastic doll with long black hair, my hair color. A note, written in neat handwriting, said, "You shouldn't dye your hair. It's beautiful the way it is." I had dyed it only a week before. No one knew, not even my closest friends. A wave of cold panic rushed through me. I locked the door, pushed all the bolts shut, and cried for the first time. Not from heartbreak, but from fear. The police came quickly, and left just as fast. "No evidence," they said. "Be careful. Change your locks." I did. The next morning, another note waited. "New locks, nice. But you still don't sleep well." Then they came every day. "Your favorite show is City of Sins. You watch it every Thursday. You cry at night. I hear you. Your friend Marina talks badly about you. Don't trust her." How could he know about Marina? About the show? I searched the apartment for hidden cameras. Every outlet, smoke detector, vent. Nothing. I replaced the locks again, installed extra bolts, but somehow his notes still made it inside. Then came the night that changed everything. I woke up and saw light in the living room. I was sure I'd turned it off. On the kitchen table, an open box of my favorite tea. One tea bag laid neatly beside it, and a note. "Tea at night keeps you awake. You should drink warm milk instead." That's when I broke. I bought 3 hidden cameras. One in the hallway, one in the living room, one in the bedroom. For 2 nights, nothing happened. On the 3rd, I deliberately slept at my friend's apartment and watched the live feed from my phone. At 3:17 a.m., the hallway camera detected movement. My front door slowly opened. He stepped inside, dark tracksuit, hood up. He wiped his shoes on my mat, looked around, took off his gloves. He walked into the living room, sat on my couch, picked up my book, flipped through a few pages. Then went to the kitchen, opened the fridge, stared at the contents, and finally turned toward the bedroom. I wasn't there, but watching it live made me feel like I was frozen inside my own skin. In the bedroom, he stood beside my bed, looking at my photos. Me with friends, me smiling. Then he took my pillow, pressed his face into it, and stood like that for minutes, breathing in my scent. The next morning, I was at the police station with my phone in hand. When the officers saw the video, their expressions changed, from polite skepticism to alarm. They went to his apartment with a search warrant. What they found was worse than any nightmare. An entire wall was covered with my photographs. Hundreds of them. Me walking to work, talking on the phone, shopping, sleeping. Each picture was labeled with notes. Smiled today. New dress. Talked to a man, don't like him. In his closet, they found a diary. Page after page described my routines, my phone calls, my mood. The last entry read, "She installed cameras, trying to protect herself. Cute. She doesn't understand we're meant for each other." But the worst discovery was under his bedroom floor. Tunnel. An old construction plan showed my apartment connected to his through a narrow passage, about 1/2 meter wide. He had been digging it for months, using the time I was away at work. Inside the tunnel they found my missing toothbrush, strands of my hair, and a few pieces of my underwear. He was arrested. It turned out this wasn't his first offense. He had stalked a former girlfriend years earlier, but the case was dropped. Now he was declared mentally unstable and placed in a psychiatric facility. I moved out the very next day. But sometimes even now I wake up at night and think I hear scratching behind the wall. And I'll never forget the one lesson that story taught me. You never really know who lives on the other side of the wall. And you never know who's watching you.